And at that moment, the realtor told me, he said, well, he used to have a welding company and he's just trying to retire. And so I empathized with the man and I felt for him because, I saw myself. I said, that could be me in 30 years if I'm not prepared today. So the small business landscape in America is facing a seismic shift. The statistic says 60% of small businesses in America are owned by the baby boomer generation. Now, why is that important? The other statistic is 30% of the small businesses have a form of a succession plan or an exit strategy, and merely 10% have documentation of this strategy. Now, as these entrepreneurs approach retirement, billions of dollars in revenue and countless jobs are at risk. Why? There's a lot of talk about that I've seen, especially in regions like the lower Rio Grande Valley. It's a market of opportunity where these business owners and entrepreneurs that are in their late 70s or late 60s, their kids want nothing to do with their business, but they want to retire. So I started noticing this issue. I own a marketing company and I would go to consultation meetings with particular clients and they were looking how to increase their revenue. Obviously there's a marketing strategy that needs to be put in place, but what I started noticing was that their strategy is not going to be the silver bullet, if you will, for their problem. There's a lot of other issues that they had, whether it's operational excellence, their capital structure was horrible, they need better governance. So there's a lot of things that I noticed that unfortunately I couldn't help at the time because although I know that, it's not something that I could do for them at the moment. So I started hearing more issues of companies that didn't know what to do with their business at this stage in their life. And then as I was looking for our own building to acquire for our headquarters, I came across this one gentleman who was trying to sell his 10,000 square foot warehouse. It had no parking space. It was aluminum walls. There was a bunch of welding equipment in it. And obviously it was valued way over market price. And so nonetheless, I didn't buy it, but I was just curious to know as to why it was valued so much. And at that moment, the realtor told me, he said, well, he used to have a welding company and he's just trying to retire. And so I empathized with the man and I felt for him because, I saw myself. I said, that could be me in 30 years if I'm not prepared today. And that's the way a lot of the businesses are these days. Unfortunately, they've waited way too long to decrease their value, and now they're just trying to sell it for parts, as this gentleman was doing. So, the reality that I came to understand is that just between two counties in a secondary market like the Rio Grande Valley, there's 24,000 registered businesses that are reporting payroll. And what they had reported in 2021 was about $34 billion. So take that in perspective and assume that, let's just say 30% of the revenue of the small businesses, the majority of those small businesses is going to payroll. And that's pretty conservative. So if you consider what potentially could be lost because of the lack of exit strategy for these businesses, we are in an economic crisis in a secondary market like the Rio Grande Valley and other markets like that across the state of Texas and in the nation. So I made it an effort, I made it my mission to help educate and create a platform within the resources and knowledge and team that I have. And so that's where we came up with the RioPlex Business Exchange. It's basically an online platform to help these small businesses that don't know where to go. They pay a minimal price to have access. There's also a level of discretion, especially in secondary markets. Discretion is extremely important because we all heard the term loose lips sink ships. So we want to make sure that people are paying to play. It's not just an open consignment market for everybody to throw out their dirty laundry, to let everybody know what the business is doing, what it's not doing, and who's for sale and who's not. And so it basically is a membership for a small business owner to put basic information up on the platform with indicators to the potential investors who are also going to live on the platform to let them know how serious they are. For example, there's indicators. Are you going to be willing to provide 3 years tax returns? Yes or no? Check. Are you able to provide 3 years financials? Check yes or no. Done. Now you have your top line revenue, potential cash flows, the industry you're in, how long you've been in business. Those are just some basic key points that I believe that any merger and acquisition or people who are interested in either acquiring or merge or even sell need to know. And so the platform is going to provide that information and provide that data, but more importantly, it's also going to provide support. So we're looking also for trusted advisors to come on the platform to provide our members, some of the resources, whether it's tax planning, bookkeeping, systems, marketing, and also financial guidance, or not financial guidance, but legal advice. So this is going to be a resource for a lot of the small business owners, and we understand that today, we saw a trend of a wave that we understand that these small businesses are reaching a level where they need to be either acquired or sold or exited. But there's another wave of new professionals that are coming in through the marketplace who are the new entrepreneurs, not necessarily wanting to start their own company, but they're doing entrepreneurship through acquisition, which they call ETAs. There's also search funds out there. So we're starting to see there's a huge value in small businesses and middle markets where there's some good, viable businesses that have good profit margins if you just either got lean or had correct operations in place or systems in place, that these young entrepreneurs that are very bright can come and optimize any business. So this platform is going to live for a resource and a pool for them, but also more importantly going to be there for the small business owners as well. Now, how RioPlex Business Exchange works. We made it real easy for any user to go on there and to join. So there's confidential connections. We ensure that business owners can discreetly connect with serious buyers who understand their market. We also simplified the access. We've made the platform so user-friendly, intuitive, by using user experience, user interface, and done some research on some local business owners and local investors to see, how can they use this platform with limited technical knowledge and can navigate it seamlessly. So the cost-effective solution also is something that's very digestible. We know that small businesses can't afford exorbitant amount of fees, so we want to keep the cost minimal. It's simple. It's either $289 a year or less than $25 a month for a small business owner. For the investor, $689 a year to have access to some of the businesses that are going to live on the platform. So the regional expertise is also something that we're going to launch. So we focus on local and regional economies, ensuring buyers have right insights to the markets they're entering. So we're kicking it off with the Rio Grande Valley. It's about 1.3 million people. It's a secondary market, but it's a growing market that can also leverage international business as well, being so close proximity to the border. And once this launches, we're going to move into other markets that are similar to that. But the important thing is how do we give resources and education to some of the small business owners that typically don't have access to a lot of the resources that major markets can provide them, whether it be private equity firms, even education, venture capitalists, groups, angel investors. So our mission and my mission is how do we skill up and level up the small businesses in secondary markets to poise them for future growth so that they can live out their legacy and help their local economy. If you are ready to take the next step, start today. Go to www.rioplexbusinessexchange.com. Your legacy and the local economies may depend on it.